go at it, just like the two Republicans or how many candidates are. In the general election, that's between the Republican candidate and then the Democrat candidate. We're not there yet, Mr. Bill Maher. He needs to check himself. But I'm telling you, sleeping with Korean staffers and these other Steffens, these other sisters, you know, he think he black, I guess. It's gone to his head. I don't know what the deal is, but I was extremely upset when I saw that. Who the hell are you to tell us or the folks of Black Lives Matter, if you identify with them, what they should and should not be doing? It's amazing. Letty writes, that is a fact. Bill Maher don't know anything about black folks. I think he tries to fit in when he don't. I mean, I'm cool with fitting in. But how you going to call somebody an effing idiot? And we're talking about a primary. As if it's out of bounds to ask Hillary Clinton to explain.
Not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators.
And in the last 20 years, we've seen youth, primarily black people, get treated just like super predators. One thing I disagree with MED and that is, he said, well, it's unfair to blame her for what her husband did. No, it's not. No, it is not. Because you got to remember, okay, Hillary Clinton sort of broke the mold. She wasn't like her predecessors. She wasn't like the other first ladies. She had a more dominant role in the cabinet. She had a more dominant role in her husband's administration. For folks who were around, you know I'm telling you the truth. She was much more vocal. And it was understood that that was going to be her role. Not only was she vocal on that issue, she was also vocal on the issue of what? Healthcare reform. She tried to do what Obama eventually was successful in doing. She tried to do that from her position as the first lady back in the 90s. So she wasn't just sitting at home making cookies and, reading the kids as the first lady. No, she was political. She was a part of it. Okay, you could tell even back then that she was a woman who understood that she was going to play a role in politics. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's exactly what she did. So I thought that Michael Eric Dyson was Dolphins, Michael Eric Dyson, and Christopher Smithen's acolytes. They all understand that. It's the sound of kissing up. And then he says, he refers to her as HRC. That was Michael Eric Dyson. He said, oh, yeah, HRC is going to be in my house. Don't give her no hip-hop name, man. She got to earn a hip-hop name. I'm telling you, we are living in the last days of common sense, my friends. We are living in the last days of common sense. Come on, writes Killer Mike, all in your radio props, Nathan. Almost deaf. Love Killer Mike. John, good morning from Montreal, Quebec. Canada, Nate. You in Montreal, huh, John? Good morning. Jill writes, Hillary put herself into the situation by trying to be the VP. Now she has to answer for it. Yes. Deanna writes, are you on Periscope this morning? ? No, I am not. Jill writes, yeah, I read that. Yeah, now she has to answer for it. That is completely legitimate, folks. That was completely legitimate. Corey writes, those were the comments from Michael Eric Dyson I was waiting to hear your thoughts on. Yeah, I think he wrote that on Facebook. Man, listen, you cannot do anything but respect the tremendous intelligence of Michael Eric Dyson. In particular, his response to Bill Cosby many years ago, it was so refreshing. I mean, it was like heaven sent. It was perfect. And his book, what is it? Is Bill Cosby right, or has the black middle class lost their mind? ? It still has a prominent position on my bookshelf, along with the other Michael Eric Dyson collected works. I mean, the brother is a heavyweight. Doesn't mean I think he's always right and we always agree. I think his assessment of Hillary Clinton is right on some cases. On other cases, I think is completely wrong. Completely wrong. But what do you think? Searching back through, I want to hear your thoughts. B writes, what empirical analysis of race did Hillary ever do? ? That's right, B. Yeah, Michael Eric Dyson said that she gave the best flow, the best analysis on race in the last 20 years. And I'm thinking, I must have missed that. I hope they weren't talking about this.
Not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they...
Now, do you want that person or do you want
I love the poorly educated.
Love the poorly educated.
Smartest.
We need more poorly educated. Let me talk about Donald Trump just a little bit, and let's talk about what's happening with the Republican Party. In particular, I want to keep it close to home. I'll say it again. No one man should have all that power, and I'm talking about your governor and my governor of Ohio, John Kasich. I will say this, though, just to give him some props. I do like his approach. I know you may think, oh, wait a minute, he's giving Kasich props. I'll wait. His approach during the Republican primary is refreshing to me because he seems to be one of the only adults in the room, quite honestly. Let's just keep it real. You know, I think that Kasich is taking a lot of credit for what Obama did. Clearly, because right now he's running for president. Pardon me. Actually, he's running for the Republican nomination for president. And he's traveling all over the country. So he's like a part-time governor. He ain't even here in the state. Who's running things? Now that the governor is like a carpetbagger, right? Trying to get a better position. I mean, and he's doing it right in front of us. Right in front of us. I think the law should be changed. If you have a position, if you want to run, you should have to give it up to run. And I think what you're going to do, if you have that, then two things are going to happen. Number one, a lot of these folks are going to lose, which means they're going to open the door for some fresh new candidates. And then number two, you're going to have individuals who are going to be more serious-minded, right, when they decide they want to run for another publicly elected office when they already hold an office. I mean, the rules need to be changed. It's unfair. I don't get it, but it is what it is. John Kasich said, look, I expect for Trump to do a sweep coming up tomorrow on Super Tuesday. He says, I'm going to stay in the race. The only way he's going to get out is if he loses Ohio. The poll numbers say that right now he's running neck and neck with Donald Trump in Ohio. And it doesn't bode well for him because you're the sitting governor in Ohio. A lot of folks believe that Kasich's doing a good job. Yet Donald Trump, who, as I understand it, hasn't visited Ohio yet. If he has, I missed it. I'm not hip to these things. I don't know his travel plans, and yet he's running neck and neck with a sitting governor. So if Kasich loses Ohio, then he's going to get out and he can be our full-time governor again. But Donald Trump's got a little bit going on. Number one, over the weekend, Chris Christie came out and endorsed Donald Trump, whatever that means. It was right after the latest debates where Rubio and Cruz basically had Donald Trump sandwiched and caught him in a crossfire. And it led to some very entertaining but yet tense moments up on the stage. But now there are members of the KKK. David Duke, our good buddy David Duke, he loves black people. He loves non-white people. David Duke has now endorsed Donald Trump. And so now whenever Donald Trump does an interview, that's all people want to know about. And here's a little clip of Donald Trump sort of explaining and talking about how he feels about having an endorsement from the KKK.
Publicly condemn unequivocally the racism of former KKK Grand Wizard David. I want to ask you about the Anti-Defamation League, which this week called on you to publicly condemn unequivocally the racism of former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke, who recently said that voting against you at this point would be treason to your heritage. Will you unequivocally condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or that of other white supremacists in this election?
Well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, did he endorse me or what's going on? Because, you know, I know nothing about David Duke. I know nothing about white supremacists. And so you're asking me a question that I'm supposed to be talking about people that I know nothing about.
But I guess the question from the Anti-Defamation League is, even if you don't know about their endorsement, there are these groups and individuals endorsing you. Would you just say unequivocally you condemn them and you don't want their support?
Well, I have to look at the group. I mean, I don't know what group you're talking about. You wouldn't want me to condemn a group that I know nothing about.
Man, the KKK,
I have to look.
man.
If you would send me a list of the groups, I will do research on them, and certainly I would disavow if I thought there was something wrong. But you may have groups in there that are totally fine, and it would be very unfair. So give me a list of the groups, and I'll let you know.
Okay. I mean, I'm just talking about David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan here, but...
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
He just doesn't know anything about him. How do you read that? Read that situation for me, smart people. I mean, what else do you need to know, man? They're the KKK. What if the modern-day Black Panther Party said, listen, we endorse Donald Trump? Would he have made a very similar statement like, well, I don't know. I mean, and I got to know these people. I don't know what groups you're talking about. Donald Trump is too smart, and he's shown that. He's too good on his feet, and he's shown that. He's too intelligent, and he's shown that. I mean, you say whatever you want to say. I think all those things are true about Donald Trump. To now play dumb when somebody asks him if he's going to disavow an endorsement. Now, what I will say is that I watched the press conference with the Chris Christie nomination, and, I mean, the fat fella gave him an endorsement. That's great. I don't know what that means. Donut lovers across the country. Yeah, I'm sweeping the bottom of the barrel. So what? I ain't above it. Donut lovers across the country now have a new hero because Chris Christie endorsed Donald Trump, whatever that means to you. But one brave reporter asked him a question about it, and he said, I disavow it. He said, I disavow it. That's good. But now you get into an interview and you want to play dumb. I don't get it. Good morning, Brittany. Brittany Bell says, good morning, Nate. Just tuning in for the first time. Good to hear your voice again. Thank you very much, Brittany. It's great to be heard. It's great to be heard. Again, broadcasting live from the city of Cincinnati each and every morning at 7 a.m. Okay? The best morning talk show in the city, period. These cats are giving you the same old things out there, and I'm giving you something completely different, something that quite honestly is the future. They know it, and I know it, and you know it, and I'm glad that we can enjoy this together. David writes, I find myself in total agreement with Minister Farrakhan when it comes to Miss Hillary. She is straight out wicked. The damage done to our communities by the Clintons will never be undone. Welfare reform caused more poverty. NAFTA cost more American jobs. The Higher Education Act, which many people don't talk about. Basically, if you got caught with a certain amount of drugs, then you were barred from life from getting student loans. Disastrous. I mean, he played a mean saxophone. It wasn't even all that good, actually. Let's be honest. I was watching that night live. It wasn't even all that good. But, you know, when a white guy dances, you know, if he hits a couple of beats, everybody goes crazy. Oh, he can dance. Get out of here. You know, it's the truth. You know what I'm talking about. Stop me when I'm wrong. And where else my list? And the truth in sentencing, 3 strikes and you're out. I mean, all these things have been struck down by the courts and have been found to have been systematically disparaging against black people in particular. And now 20 years later, Hillary Clinton wants to be in the White House. And guess what she's doing? She's using the black guy. She's using Barack Obama. I'm here to tell you, Hillary Clinton won South Carolina because she got record numbers of black people that came out and voted for her. And again, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. This is just one man's opinion. Do with it what you will. Okay? Agree, disagree. You know, bounce your thoughts off of mine. I'll bounce my thoughts off of yours. We all adults here, okay? I just find it amazing. So, since I know the record, again, let me tell you, folks, I was in college in the mid-'90s. That was the beginning of my political awareness. I was listening to people like Rush. I was listening to people like Carmine Guzman from here in the city of Cincinnati. I was listening to all these voices talk about politics as I formulated my own opinion, okay? It was the Clintons who were the backdrop. They were in the White House. I watched all of it. The Republicans went after the Clintons. I mean, I would say even worse to some degree, or just as worse, with the same intensity. as they did the Obamas. So as I've always told people, that's politics and not necessarily race. They use race to serve the politics. And I never supported the Clintons. Never. To be honest with you, I believe I may have voted for Bill Clinton the first time. And I sat back and I watched it for years. He could not get my vote after that. I did not vote for him a second term. Because even as a young G, I could see the game.